Eric I was a king known for his kindness and generosity. Convinced that humanity was capable of great deeds, he sought to support his people in every way possible. His subjects adored him. However, among those closest to him, his eldest son, Prince Eldrick, saw things differently. Where his father perceived gratitude and need, Eldrick saw greed and deceit. The kingdom's subjects often came to plead for the king's help: land for impoverished nobles, grain for starving villages, funds for reconstruction projects. The king, ever willing to answer these calls, gave without hesitation. But Eldrick observed that these gifts were not always put to good use. Over time, some took advantage of his father's generosity, diverting resources for their own benefit. Others returned repeatedly, insatiable in their demands. Eldrick tried to intervene. He exposed the abuses and denounced those who exploited the king's benevolence. Yet despite his efforts, his father, convinced that mercy was the cornerstone of a good reign, dismissed his warnings. The tensions between them grew. Eldrick began acting on his own to curb excesses. He refused to allow resources to be sent to villages known for reselling royal goods. He opposed redistributing lands to corrupt nobles. Unlike his siblings, he could not bring himself to bow to his father's directives. Out of loyalty and love, Eldrick resolved to maintain his opposition, even if it meant becoming the opposite of his father. Eldrick was willing to do whatever it took to protect his father from his own kindness and from the greedy courtiers surrounding him. Gradually, he became an enemy of the courtiers and eventually an adversary of the entire kingdom. Weary of these constant disagreements, the king came to see Eldrick's actions as dangerous insubordination. After one final confrontation, in which Eldrick had thwarted a major royal decision, the king made an irrevocable choice. He stripped his son of his title as crown prince, his rights to the throne, and banished him from the kingdom. Eldrick left the palace, exiled by the man he had always sought to protect. His departure marked an irreparable rift. He came to be known as Eldrick the Fallen Prince. Everyone regarded him as a man to be avoided and not followed, for he was seen as the antithesis of his father. Where Eric was infinitely kind, Eldrick was deemed harsh and severe, or so the tales went. Years passed, and Eldrick's fears came true. The king's generosity, exploited by greedy nobles and courtiers, drained the royal coffers. The lands given away were mismanaged, harvests declined, and peasants, fed up with the injustices, revolted. Quarrels between lords over territories and riches plunged the kingdom into growing chaos. It marked the end of the reign of the generous-hearted king who had banished his son, the one who had acted out of love.